What are the most family-friendly excursions on the island of Oahu while you're staying at Aulani? Well, I'm about to share with you all my favorites. Aloha, I'm Christina and we are continuing our A Week in Hawaii at Home series where we talk a lot about Aulani and how to plan for a vacation at Aulani, which is a Disney resort on Oahu. In the last video, we talked about more adult-focused activities that you can do at the resort, but mostly during this series, we've been talking about family-friendly activities that you can do with your kids. And today, we are going beyond the resort to talk about excursions. But before we do that, we also want to help your family celebrate the culture of Hawaii with your ohana at home. So today's excursion at home, if you will, activity is virtual snorkeling. Yeah, you gotta use your imagination for this one. I included a link to a YouTube video of a beautiful snorkeling setting in Hawaii. And all you need to do is find some goggles if you have some, which I'm sure you do. If not, just pretend. And I want your family to get close to the TV, not too close, and I want you to experience what snorkeling would be like as a family, pointing to sea turtles, pointing to tropical fish. But have some fun with it, use your imagination, really play with your kids, and have fun snorkeling together without getting wet. All right, now let's jump into excursions. Now, Aulani has a list on their website full of excursions. Right now, there's only 15 items. This list, to be honest, has changed every year. So the activities that I've done from this list in the past are no longer on there, which kind of sucks because I like them and I want to do them again, but I can't book them through Aulani anymore. Most of them are third parties though, so I can book them through the actual vendors, which is what I do. And I'll be sharing with you all of them, including my favorite family adventure that I highly recommend. It can be for all ages. So let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, Aulani has a list of excursions, and the only one that I've done from the current list was the ziplining. We did that back in 2021, and it was fun. And it was really great, but it wasn't what I expected. So the zip lining, we did the 6-line zip tour, and that was at Coral Crater Adventure Park, which is like 15 minutes from the resort. And I was imagining zip lining through tropical trees and seeing waterfalls in the middle of the island. It wasn't that. It was a group of trees, but it was still really pretty. There were just no waterfalls. You could kind of see the ocean from a certain point, but not much of an ocean view while you're gliding. I don't know, it was fun. It was really fun and exhilarating to do the zip line. Not for all ages, but it was definitely good. Personally, I would like to find a different zip lining place so that I can go through those tropical trees and see waterfalls and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll be something we can do in the future. Now, the other ones that I've done that used to be on the list include a sunset dinner boat cruise, and that was in Waikiki. So it was on a big old yacht where they really pack it in full of people and they give you food, which was fine. I don't really remember it. And the entertainment was fine. This is a very touristy thing to do, but it included transportation from Aulani to Waikiki, which was nice, or not Waikiki, but Honolulu. But the sunset, that was gorgeous. I do recommend that. And there are also other dinner boat cruises everywhere around the island, even closer to Aulani. So if that is something you're looking to do, there are options for that closer to the resort. And as I said in part 1, where we talked about Aulani 101, Aulani is far from most of the tourist destinations of the island. So it's going to be a drive, either renting a car or Uber or whatever you need to get to any of the tourist destinations. So just know that, and there is a lot of traffic on the island of Oahu, so it could take a while. So just plan for that when you're choosing where to go and when you're going. Mornings and 5 o'clock rush hour, rough times to go anywhere, but still doable. You just got to plan for it. Another thing we did that used to be on the list was island hopping. Back in 2013, my husband and I, before we had kids, we hopped to the Big Island, which is called the Big Island. And even though it's the biggest, it's actually the youngest island and still forming. Like, that volcano is still active, which is why we did a volcano tour. And it was so amazing. Like, we got to explore lava tubes, which were beautiful. They're just caves made out of lava. And we got to see where the lava covered the land years before. And you can see the vegetation coming up through it, just like the end of Moana. Spoiler alert. And we got to see a black sanded beach. And we even got to go up to the volcano and see active red hot lava from afar. I think we had to look through binoculars or something to see it, but wow, it was such an amazing tour. It was all day. We were exhausted. It just took a day. We flew to the island in the morning and we flew back to the resort in the afternoon. Well, Oahu anyways, and we drove back to the resort. And it was awesome. So we will definitely be doing that again. Maui and Kauai are next on our list, but the Big Island is definitely something we want to do with our kids in the future. Okay, let's talk about my very favorite excursion I've ever done while in Hawaii. It used to be on that list, but it isn't anymore, which is a bummer, but it's okay because you can book through them directly. And that is a catamaran experience where it's snorkeling and whale watching and dolphin watching all in one, plus food and drinks, and it is a complete packaged experience. And it's only a few hours, but let me tell you, it was worth it. So we went with Ocean Joy Cruises, and they're actually in the Olina Marina, which is just down the street from Aulani. It's kind of like over a mile away, so it's not exactly walking distance, especially when you have young kids, but we usually rent a car, so we just drove down there. And it is a fantastic experience. Last time we did it, our kids were still too young to go snorkeling, so they just sat on a surfboard in the water with our guides, and the guides were able to go to the bottom of the ocean and bring up a starfish for them to touch. It was beautiful. And before we stopped it, hold on, rewind. So the catamaran is where you go out into the ocean close to the island, like you can still see the island, and you go around Olina area and you do some whale watching depending on the season. And we saw whales, like humpback whales, and we saw dolphins right there next to the boat. And then a little bit later, we stopped somewhere to do snorkeling right off the catamaran. Oh, and there's live music. They have someone playing live music during your cruise, so that's nice. And it includes a lunch and drinks, like I said. And also while we were snorkeling, like we had just seen the whales, so they weren't that far away. As I dove down deeper into the water and kind of popped my ears out a little bit, I could hear the whales. And I gotta say, it was one of the most beautiful sounds I have ever heard. It was magical, it was spiritual, and it sounded like worship to the Creator, really. And I'm just so thankful to God that I got to experience that and hear those whales. And it's a memory I will definitely treasure. So I highly recommend the catamaran cruises. And like I said, it's all ages. It's a little hard because if you have a really little one that they can't go out in the water with you, someone will need to stay on the boat with them. We did that when my child was 18 months, and my mom didn't want to go out into the water, so she stayed with our baby girl. And that worked out, but it just makes it a little bit more complicated when you have real littles. But beautiful experience. I can't praise Ocean Joy Cruises enough. They were fantastic. And we could ask them questions and all the things. So we did that in January though, which is the whale watching season. So if that's important to you, plan accordingly. Now I'll share with you a list of all the things that I've done on the island of Oahu by myself without a tour guide, and we just went. And you can easily do it. Some of these experiences do require tickets to purchase ahead of time, and other times they get busy, so you don't know if they'll fill up. But like I said, we rent a car and we go these places. One of them is Pearl Harbor and the Battleship Missouri tour. So I'm sure you've heard of Pearl Harbor. Well, you can go and see the memorial, and it is very much a somber experience. You ride a little boat and you go over onto the memorial, and yeah, it is not the best for young kids because they won't understand. But if you've never seen it, it's definitely worth a visit. Also, the Battleship Missouri is right next to it, where you can actually do a whole tour of the Navy ship, and that was really cool. We actually did it with my 1-year-old, and she did fine. So there is a lot of tight spaces though you kind of have to go through, so you're gonna have to carry your little one a lot. Another place we go to regularly is the Dole Plantation. Now this is closer to North Shore area, more in the center of the island, but closer to North Shore. And Dole Plantation, not only do they have pineapple and more pineapple and some more pineapple, but they also have a whole maze you can do with your kids. You have to purchase tickets for it, but still it's really fun to uncover all the clues about and learn more about Hawaii and pineapples. They also have a train ride that you can do, which is, it was okay. Not really worth the price. It's quite expensive for what you get, but it's a train ride and they give you a picture at the end. And then of course they have the shop and they're including a little restaurant with, you guessed it, Dole Whip. And that was super fun. What we do, oh, you're gonna think we're crazy, but what we do every time we go to the Dole Plantation is we stock up with tea. Yeah, that's right, tea, pineapple tea. It is so good. And we get bags and bags of it to take home in our bags. It's super light. Yeah, they do take up a lot of room, but they're super light, so they won't add much weight to our checked luggage. That usually lasts us until our next trip to the Dole Plantation. So that's definitely our must do. And they also have other things at the store, that like shirts and other souvenirs, but teas are what we go for. Pineapple tea, so fresh and delicious, so good. Which actually, I'm drinking right now. Anyways, another thing that we do all the time is visit the North Shore. Now, the North Shore is known for surfing, big waves. And if you're, depending on what time of year you're there, you might be able to see a surfing competition or something like it. The North Shore is also known for food. Local food trucks that are hugely popular. And I would ask cast members at Aulani for what their recommendations are, but the North Shore has a lot of options for food. And we went to a coffee farm and they also had macadamia nuts and more tea, which we got. So yeah, those are great places to go exploring. Another thing that we love to do, especially if you are wanting Hawaiian souvenirs at a much lower price than you'll get anywhere, is go to the swap meet in Honolulu. Just look it up online. I promise you will not be disappointed. There's vendors around the whole Aloha Stadium, and they are very inexpensive souvenirs, or if they are more expensive, negotiate a price if you are good at that. But yeah, we've gotten many things from this swap meet. That's where we get our Hawaiian souvenirs, and we love it. It is exhausting though, because it's a lot of vendors, and after a while the vendors all start looking the same. So just know that going in, it is exhausting. Don't go hungry. Another thing we do, which is very touristy, is go to Waikiki, which has all the hotels, restaurants, the beach, of course, because this is the most popular beach in the whole world. It's busy. Oh my gosh, it's so busy, but great views. And it's a lot of fun just to walk around and explore. There's also a zoo in Waikiki. I don't know if you knew that, but it is really fun to take your kids to. And I don't think it costs very much too. So that's a very cheap activity you can do with your kids. And also near Waikiki is Diamond Head. Now Diamond Head is a crater hiking trail, essentially, that used to be the lookout point around Pearl Harbor time. And you can walk all the way up to the top of Diamond Head, and let me tell you, it is a hike. Young kids won't be able to handle it. There is a lot of stairs. So if you have mobility issues, I wouldn't recommend this. But it's really fun, and once you get to the top and see that view, it's worth it. Another very popular snorkeling spot is Hanauma Bay, which is just past Diamond Head, just past Waikiki, and it's where royalty, actually Hawaiian royalty, used to go bathing. And then there's a huge reef there. You might see sea turtles, you'll see tropical fish, and it is very beautiful. Sometimes when it's very touristy, the water gets really murky, so it's a little hard to see. They do have snorkeling gear available to rent there. They also take you through a little educational film to learn how to take care of the reef while you're snorkeling. Like, don't touch it, glide over it. And also the reef is really sharp. So this is not the best for littles, but if you have older kids, this is a great place to go snorkeling. There are also other snorkeling places around the island. Just speak to a local and I'm sure they would love to give you some suggestions. We had so many suggestions that I forget what they are now, but we didn't have time to go visit them all. Speaking of Hawaiian royalty, you can also visit the palace, the Aulani Palace, which is located in Honolulu, and it's a self-guided tour where you're listening to the tour guide in like headphones. At least this was the case back in 2008. So I guess it's been a while since I've been there, but it was a beautiful palace. It was really cool to explore it. I had to wear little booties over my shoes because you can't bring anything in. But yeah, it was a great tour to do. Another place we visited before is Kualoa Ranch, which is actually where they filmed Jurassic Park and a lot of movies that take place in Hawaii. We did a movie tour and it was fine. It was really cool to see all the places, but our tour guide had not seen most of the movies, so the tour guide could have been better. We saw scenes from where 50 First Dates were filmed, and Pearl Harbor, and I think some Elvis movies, and I'm sure there's even been more since we've been there. That was back in 2013 when we did this tour. You can also go horseback riding at this ranch, which is really fun. They take you around the ranch and you can have an ocean view while you're horseback riding. So it was beautiful. Sea Life Park is also a great place to go visit. It's kind of like SeaWorld, but without the ride and a lot smaller than SeaWorld. If you've been to SeaWorld, they have dolphins, they have a wolfin, they have other sea animals, and it's gorgeous. Actually, that is where Adam Sandler's character worked in 50 First Dates. But I've been there before I had kids, and I got to do the dolphin encounter experience, and I got to kiss a dolphin and ride a dolphin, and it was awesome. So we will be taking our kids there maybe next time we go. And one of the best places that you can visit while on Oahu is the Polynesian Cultural Center. Now I talked about that in a previous video. The Polynesian Cultural Center is where you learn about different Polynesian islands and like Samoa and Australia and Hawaii obviously and Tahiti and more, but you get to watch different educational shows and where they teach you about these cultures. And as you're walking around learning about all these different cultures, you get to experience the ultimate luau at night. And it is an awesome luau. I think this is the best luau I have ever seen, and I've been to a few. They really bring all of the Polynesian dances into the show. So every Polynesian island chain is represented and it is gorgeous. And the food, amazing. I did this back in 2008 and it was incredible. So it's been a while, but I'm excited to go again. So that probably is an exhaustive list of all the things that I've done. Definitely not an exhaustive list of all the things that you can do, but it's really cool to learn of all the things that you could do and more. So some things that we'll be wanting to experience in the future is the waterfall hiking at Manoa Falls. Never done that. I've always wanted to. We just ran out of time. Also, right there across the street from Aulani is a train, and the train station is a little farther away that you have to drive to. But the train takes you on a little tour through Olina, where Aulani is located, and stops for ice cream along the way too, right there across the street from Aulani. So you might see the train if you're visiting a little market area across the street from Aulani. And another thing we want to do is more island hopping. Like I said earlier, we've got to visit Maui, we've got to visit Kauai, and maybe some other islands. We'll see. So I know I've given you a long list of things that you can do with your family, but word of caution, when we plan our trip to Hawaii, we overplan. Like, we plan all these excursions outside of the resort that we miss a lot of what we're paying for at the resort. So keep that in mind, not to overbook yourself like we do, but take it easy, enjoy some rest time at the resort. Aulani has plenty of activities to keep you busy, so I want you to enjoy those as well. Make those a priority and visiting other places a secondary. Does that make sense? I know we've been talking all about Aulani in this series. Obviously, I'm not there right now. However, I will share that we will be going later next year in celebration of my 40th birthday. So I'm very excited for that, and I will take you along with us as we explore everything updated at Aulani. Last time we were there was April 2023. So we're ready to go again and experience all that Aulani, all that Oahu has to offer. But until then, I want to share with you my pro tips when you are staying at Aulani. So click this video right here. I'll see you there. Mahalo and aloha.